I love that intro. Isn't that just cool when the saw blade hits a tree and makes that ding noise and it just sounds so cool? And I worked real hard on that. I hope you guys know. So what's up, guys? It is a midweek project right now, and I'm kind of in between. And I just posted my table saw, ultimate table saw cabinet, and I got a huge response from that. It has been a whirlwind of 48 hours for me. I got tons of questions, as well as a whole bunch of an influx of people joining my channel, and I want to greatly thank Steve Ramsey, Jay Bates, and John Hines. I've never really figured out the real pronunciation of his last name, but everybody has been so wonderful with getting my table saw cabinet and my channel well known to their subscribers, and I greatly appreciate it, guys. Just wanted to let you know that. Now, in regards to the questions that have been coming up on my latest post with my table saw cabinet, there are some things that I didn't touch on the new video that I'm going to touch on now. So let's get to it. All right, now some of you guys were curious about the clamps that I use to hold this thing in place. And what I bought was some Wood River clamps off of Amazon. But these are just those piston clamps that I can put my foot up underneath, pop it open, and be able to move the cart around. And they also are adjustable, so I can self-level this thing. And then when I'm ready, just put my foot into it, and then it clamps down and holds it in place perfectly. I had a viewer recently ask me on my last post what fence that I use, and it is a Biesmeyer that is made by Delta Machinery. It is a 52-inch in length that is attached by a piece of angle iron to the actual table that I made. It utilizes both the table saw as well as the router. However, I do plan on making a dedicated router fence that will ride on this fence. It bolts up from underneath on this, and it rides on a couple of polyurethane slides that are on the underneath side of the fence. Once it's nice and square, it is a very, very reliable fence. Now, in regards to the storage that I have on the back side of the table saw, I really don't have them outfitted with anything yet on these pullouts. They're just blank. I do plan on mounting a couple of boxes, maybe 3 of them, that'll go down the side, and they'll just be for odd and end storage that I really don't access that much. The drawers themselves over here, I actually have stuff in them, and it's the same purpose, things I don't really get to that much. But because one day I'll have an assembly table sitting right here, having those levelers and the casters on this thing, I can move it out of the way and still be able to access it. Now, if you look, I did put this on backwards. It's actually facing out instead of in, so I can access it from that side of the table, and I did the same thing to this one. I can access it from that side of the table. So there was a little method to my madness on those. Now, somebody had commented a while back in one of my other videos during the process of making this that it looked like I didn't accommodate the tilt for the motor when it came to making cuts at a 45 or 22.5 or anything like that. And you are right, I did not accommodate for that, and there's just a reason for it, is because I have to keep all the holes plugged in the Contractor Saw for my dust collection to work properly. And if I wanted to turn that blade, some of my ports would actually have to be uncovered. And then I'd have to cover them back up each time. So if I need to make any angle cuts for things like French cleats, I'm actually going to construct a jig that will ride on my table saw and cut the 45s. So I'm really not too concerned with beveling my blade any. One thing you could do if you decided to build this tabletop is only have the top piece of plywood and the whiteboard underneath, and leave it open as much as possible down here for the tilt of the motor. And I can't guarantee that the motor is going to have enough leeway to get to that 45 if you have a saw like mine, but that is something you could do. Alright, I did have somebody else ask me about my wood blocks that I have here underneath my miter gauges, and all they do is store my miter gauges. I screwed them to the cabinet, I just have not painted them black yet. This right here is just a support for this extra long piece right here. And this piece right here and that one over there has a dado cut down the length of it, and then I widened it at the very bottom of the dado that's closest to the cabinet to allow for the tongue of that miter bar. Now, excuse the very bright lighting. I've got my lights up here to shine up underneath just so you guys can see, because I had somebody ask me about the table saw itself, and I actually got this from my wife's grandfather who passed away a few years ago. This is a Delta 10-inch contractor saw. It's not a tabletop saw or a benchtop saw. It actually had a stand that was up underneath it that I took off to be able to put onto this cabinet. And it had a big gaping hole like all contractor saws do, so it allowed me to be able to put that dust chute up underneath it to plumb for the dust collection port. The item that somebody wanted me to touch on was the actual router plate itself. And this is a Jessam router plate that I got on clearance at Woodcraft, knocked off about $100, and it was as is. I didn't have any of the little red inserts like this. I had to buy those separate. Basically, it was just the plate, and that was it. Had the rising assembly underneath it, but I didn't have an adapter coupling for my router, so I had to find a discontinued coupling that would go around that router and hold it securely, which I did manage to find. But this is a wonderful plate. I haven't been displeased with it at all. So I don't know. That's pretty much it for that. Now, somebody had asked me a question: why didn't I cut this part of the cart off and make it equal with the top? And the reason for that is, since I'm going to have my assembly table butted up right next to the cart, I got to have a place for my dust collection hose. And once that assembly cart is right here, this hose is going to be able to ride along that. And if I need to get into this, I can always disconnect it from the saw, but it's actually going to ride on that little space. That was just part of my design. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed my table saw build. I hope to have a lot more shop builds in the future. My assembly table still is to come, my downdraft table, lathe cabinet, my cabinetry over here for the sliding miter saw and radial arm saw. I mean, I got a lot to do. So you guys will have plenty to view in the near future, provided I have enough funds. One last thing I wanted to say is that the YouTube creators that are creating these woodworking shows, such as Mere Mortals, Jay Bates, good grief, there's a whole bunch of them, and I'm sure you guys know the popular ones, but we work very hard to bring these woodworking videos to light. And some of us, like Steve has said in the past, that we're juggling full-time jobs like me. And we try and do this because we have a passion for it, and we want to share it with the world. And woodworking videos, you just can't get enough of them, and they are free to everybody to enjoy. And by showing your support, if you like a video, comment on it, share it on Facebook, share it with your friends. Anything such as that nature shows that you appreciate what it is that we do, and it shows your support for future video creators of woodworking videos in the future. I want to just give a big thanks to all of you who have supported Rockin' H Woodshop thus far. We started in May of last year, and due to my recent influx of subscribers, we are now over 1,500 people. In less than 48 hours, I have gone up 800 people, and it is just amazing to me how that happens when one person shares a video and shares it with their subscriber list, how it just explodes for them. And I'm going to return the favor to a few of you guys that I like to watch. So subscribe to channels, comment, rate them, share them with your friends, and we would greatly appreciate it. And we continue to want to bring you free videos in the future. So until next time, guys, I want to say be safe in your shops, and I hope you guys have a grand new year, and I'll be bringing you more videos to come. So take care.